Alright, I want to show you something that I was using this whole time and it's fucking awesome. Is this little squares. They can sit right in the middle of the hallway and the players can't see them. And I have them literally all over the place. They're, like right there, I got a thrown note, and then like basically at every doorway, so I would have a description, near traps, so I could quickly roll the damage for them, etc., etc. I'll just show you how I did it. So here, basically all it is this is a character. The character doesn't have any artwork, and uh, let's just close this stuff up so we can see. And it is DM notes template, and then I made a copy of it so I would always have one unadulterated thing in case I ever fucked this up. But basically, this is just a character. I haven't done anything to it, and I deleted the artwork that was there. So then it's going to give you this little, like, wraith looking ghost thing. That means it's invisible. So other players can't see it. So I drag it onto the map. This one's bigger. I'll show you why. I This is like the first one I made, and I preferred to use this one later because you can see it. If a character happens to step on it, I won't lose it. Like if they step on the other one, I'm like, where the hell is that square? Oh, it's underneath you. But if it's this big, I can still get to it. Anyway, this square. Click on that. It's just like a regular character. In the details, go down to token aura. I set it to 2 so that it would stick out. This is what it looks like if it has 0. I put the tint on green because green's really visible. I put it on square because it's unique and cool, but you could put it on mixed circle, whatever you wanted. I use it on square. So this one is blank. It is literally just for testing. So I will show you what's going on. First thing I'm going to do is do the /talk to myself so I don't blow up the chat with any more of the bullshit I've been doing. Yeah, because I already just blew up the chat. Anyway, so what this thing does is when you click on it, a button will show up in the top. You click it, it will provide 6 more buttons in the chat, and when you click on those, it will do something. As you can see, I clicked on description, and it said testing description. And if you look right here, it says testing description. So that's a little preview of the future. So basically all I'm doing is I'm going to this character that I made that I have adjusted to be invisible. Then I'm going to its character sheet. Both of these things will be useful to see at the same time. Let me try to move that sucker up there. You don't see it as well, but whatever. Let's move, and then this one. Stop it. Okay. That's why I have an original one, just in case I do something crazy. So it has a max hit point bar. It has a hit point bar and a max, just like every other character does. And it also has attributes. So over here in the attributes and abilities, I added abilities, and then the abilities can perform functions. So this is complicated because anyway, the only ones that matter are the top 7. So there are 6 entry fields right here, and that is each one of them is an ability, and then you have one extra ability to display this button. So this is the only one that has a show as token action, which displays the ability up here in the corner. All it does is whisper to me the buttons. It will whisper me a description button that will perform the description action, the image button that will perform the image action, etc. So let me rephrase that a little bit better. Display a description button that will perform the description ability. So then I just go through and I add more abilities. This ability description, which is being referred to right here, describes whatever is in selected bar 1. Describe is how you get, you can just type /DSC and then hello me hearties, and it will display it in this italicized font in the middle of the, like, centered in the chat field, so it sticks out from other things. And I think it also doesn't display your name next to it because so it doesn't fill up the chat. I'm not sure about that because I see my name right here. Whatever. But that describe uses that, performs that. So then I want to describe whatever I wrote in this first bar. Description 2 is exactly the same way, but it refers to the third bar, max. So not this one, but this one. GM info whispers to the GM whatever I wrote in the second bar. So this is where I keep my GM notes. Image this is the display image function. It's like I can literally just copy this and put it in chat and hit enter, and it will, it's a broken link, but it will. You know what? I'm gonna do it without a broken link. Where is it? Okay. So now, if I can go into chat and hit up on my keyboard, and it's the last thing that I typed. Then I'll hit enter just to do it, and it will display the image that is associated with this bar. This bar has a link, image address copied into it. I used these handouts or characters, it doesn't matter, just to hold artwork. So like this is a character, but it's not a character, and I just have the artwork dragged over here just to hold it, and it doesn't get backed up, whatever. But so then I can right click on it, copy image address. Whatever, it doesn't matter, I'm just copying image address. And then copy it into here. So that was the image of the elephant. And when you copy it into here, it'll have a whole bunch of numbers at the end of it. You gotta delete the numbers and the question mark to where it is just .jpeg or .png, whatever, and it's going to start with the hyperlink, with the the hypertext link or whatever, and then it will. Oh, fuck it, let's go ahead. You save it, and then now when I hit image, it displays the gem. So yeah, it displays image of whatever is in there, and whatever's in there has to be a hyperlink. And then trap. This is the most fun. A little bit more complicated, but the most fun. So, yeah, trap is just going to just put whatever is in selected bar 1 max into the chat. Trap does the same thing, but it is selected bar 2 max. So, if we look on here, this is a trap, and this is a trap. But all of the functionality, like the display image or whatever, is in here. It all starts with this @template default blah 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 blah. It is incredibly difficult to edit it inside of there. So I put all of my traps in here as just a way that I can grab them quickly. Like they're all just lined up in here until I got tired of scrolling down, and then I would make a new one, and then that was just like more traps. But the very first one was up here at copy paste. I have a bunch of command references, including that, display description. So whisper to GM, display the URL image, yada yada. Button, ability name, yada yada. So this is the template for the trap damage, just for the default 30-foot deep covered pit trap. So this and template default is what's going to display this cool purple outline. Where it says name, that's what it's going to name it. So this one, obviously, instead of saying pit trap, it says knockout gas. I know how to spell. And then instead of saying pit trap, it would say knockout gas, obviously. So, This is part of why you want to make copies. Pit trap. Spiked pit trap. I think I left something out. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I would copy this, and I'd be like, all right, I want a new one. So then I would paste it down here. So this one I changed to Venus flytrap. You take 60, 1200 being dead damage. You get spiked up instead of bludgeoning or whatever. So like, it doesn't matter what you write in there. You see how down here it rolled a 2d4. I wrote 4d4 right here in regular parentheses, and that's just so the characters can see what happened to them. But anything you put in these hard brackets, not the curly brackets, you put 2 hard brackets, and you put any kind of math in there, it will display it. So I usually just go in here and then I say like 3d9, whatever. You can do whatever you like. And it will just go ahead and do that math. So you see in this particular trap, it does this type of damage, it does that type of damage, it does that type of damage, and you also need a con save, and it has a description of it. So like, I don't want to roll that many dice as a dungeon master, and I don't want to have to wait for everybody to do, like, wait for me to do the math. So like, that's save a ton of time. And I guess that's like, that's pretty much it, long and short of it, for this little token. But this token has been just badass. So we get down here to the final little area, and like, so I'm gonna click on this one. Well, hold on one second. So like, I also have notes. Here's some pretty legible notes. Okay. So like, here's the square I'm going to be clicking on as y'all approach this door. So then I want to, as a reminder, because just looking at this, I can't tell what it is. It just says description, description 2, and if I'm like, oh shit, what is on this one? And then I open it up and I try to look at it and I go, oh no, what is that picture? Or like, what does it say in this massive paragraph? I don't know. Like, this is a really big dungeon, and I couldn't remember what everything was. And I also didn't want to have to keep referring to the journal handouts and stuff. Those were mostly for y'all. Although in the journal handouts, so like, there's the picture that I would copy an image link and an image address from, and then here is GM notes that are only visible to me. But I would often copy the description from some, like, pick and choose the description out of here that I would be able to give to you, because it tells me that like at the center of the cavern is a small grotto which dwells the Fae, whatever. So some of that information I'd want you to know, and others I would not. And then like, here's all the GM info. So I could basically just copy all of this and put it onto the GM info button, and I could just display all that shit. Super cool. And then nobody else can see it because it got whispered to me, and I could show everybody the image. But okay, so look, this says use description 2. This is just a note I put on here. It's on the GM layer. Y'all can't see it, although sometimes I messed up. But description 2 after opened, just so like y'all are all sitting here, and I'm like, when I hit the button and it says there at the end of the door is a great block of adamantine, whatever, and describes what you're seeing. And then after y'all fiddle around with it for a minute, you go, oh, okay, I figured out the lock. Now, after you open it, hit description 2. And you look upon an enormous chamber. I don't want to hit that button before you open the door. Also, I fucked up right here. I remember, because I didn't read this image after opened. And the general etiquette for this dungeon was you walk up to something and I hit description and then I hit image, because it will, here's my description and here's the image that was provided of that. So like this, for instance, I said description 1 enter and then image, so that just like use them both. So menu to put these back in here. So right when you walk in, hit the description, and then after I get done reading it, hit the image, and then let you explore. Here's a pew trap. So it says use description 1 after glancing at the pews. Then the pew trap is obviously the pew trap. Then description 2 before the gas trap. So like this is the description of the pews. This is the trap, and this is a description before the gas trap goes off, and then trap 1 and trap 2. So there were two different types of traps that could come from these pews, but I think y'all only saw one. Anyway, so but this would help me even further when I had a lot of information packed into here, but like all the way up at the top, like just pit trap, that's its only function. There's nothing else on it except the pit trap itself, so I could just hit the pit trap. And this is a 10-foot deep, so anywhere in the dungeon when I just needed a button only for a trap, I could just hit this one, Control C, copy, and then put it over here, Control V, and then bam, I got another one. And then I just copy and paste whatever trap I wanted into the correct place. Um, yeah, that's it, man.